All right, I didn't in the last video talk about tangents period, so let's talk a little bit about tangent. So tangent is, by definition, or one of the definitions, is sine divided by cosine, all right? And so just kind of like I did with sine and cosine, I'm going to go ahead and graph this. And note in the last video, I didn't talk about the graphs of cosecant and secant. I just kind of said, well, you know, hey, sine and cosine both have a period of 2 pi, and cosecant and secant match it. But when we do graphing of functions, we'll actually look at those graphs so you can see that. But for now, as long as you know they're 2 pi, that's probably good enough. All right, but let's look at tangent here. So here I have my, 1, -1 like we did before. And we'll do pi over 2 and pi and 3 pi over 2 and what, 2 pi. Okay, and so if we look at these 5 key points, and again, remember the 5th one is coming back here again, we can kind of get a few points on our graph here. So if I go over here, sine divided by cosine would be 0, so we have a point at 0. Now when I come up here at pi over 2, I have sine divided by cosine. So that's actually going to be an asymptote. That's undefined. All right, and then if I come over here, I have sine divided by cosine. That's 0. Right, and then if I come down here, I have sine divided by cosine. That's undefined again. And then if I come back here, sine divided by cosine is 1. So you're like, okay, that graph tells me nothing. All right, well, let's go to the pi over 4 in the middle here. All right, so that's tangent right here is 1. Right, so if I cut this into pi over 4, I'm up at 1. If I come over here, which would be what, right there. All right, then I'm at a -1. And then if I come right here, I'm at a +1. And if I come right here, I'm at a, what am I at here, -1. Okay, so then if I came over here on this side, I would be back at a +1. Then my next one would be an asymptote and so forth. So over here, +1. So if I went back, that would be at a -1. All right, so the graph of this is actually going to kind of look like this. It's going to kind of hug that asymptote, kind of come in and hug that asymptote. So it's going to come up, curve, and go like that. So, and look down. Sorry, that one didn't turn out very good, did it? Ah. All right, not perfect at graphing. All right, so if you look at this and you want to figure out how big is the period, well, this is one iteration, this is another. So it keeps repeating itself in whatever that distance is right there. All right, so if I take this distance, slide it over to here, I get the same thing. So if you look from pi over 2 to 3 pi over 2, if I subtract those, that is what, 2 pi over 2, which is a distance of pi. So from here to here is a distance of pi. And if you don't believe me, here's half a pi distance right there. There's another half a pi distance. So together, a half and a half make a whole. So the period for tangent is actually pi. And to go along with that, and again, we'll graph cotangent later, but cotangent will also have the same period, and it will also be pi. So sine, cosine, cosecant, and secant all have a period of 2 pi. But tangent and cotangent have a period of pi.